Konnichi, what's up, my Tomodachis? It's me, back. I'm working on 2 longer form videos right now, so I thought I would kind of just throw in one unscripted one while I work on those. But I kind of wanted to make this unscripted one kind of like the precursor to a series, or the beginning of it actually, because I'm talking about one of my personal favorite characters in any media, which I feel like I say that about every single character I talk about, but this guy definitely top 10 IMO, mainly because now here's the crazy part, because if you read the title, it's gonna say this. He's literally me. I wanted to make kind of just a series of videos where I talk about characters who, if only me, if only a certain amount of people, if fucking everybody, they are a relatable character. For me, the character who every time I think, the only character I have sat down and been like, dude, every scene he's on screen, that's literally me. He's me. Be it the fucking... Well, other than the first time you see him, because the first time you see him, you get this huge misunderstanding of his character. But once you meet him, he's literally me. And that is Kanji Tatsumi for Persona 4, Persona 4 Golden, Persona 4 Arena, Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, and Persona 4 Dancing. Kanji Tatsumi is the scary character, I guess. The delinquent is the better word for it, of Persona 4. In Persona 3, you have a fucking Kenji. In Persona 5, you have Ryuji. But in Persona 4, you have Kanji Tatsumi. The possibly gay, possibly straight, possibly bisexual, possibly confused or questioning, I guess is the actual word. In my eyes, straight man confused for gay, because that's the most literally me answer there is, character of the Persona series. When you first meet Kanji Tatsumi, he is seen as this rough delinquent who used to be a real softie back when he was a kid, because your coworker or your teammate Yukiko knew him as a kid, since her inn in Hot Spring used to buy a lot of the textiles from his mom's shop to build or to make kimonos. So Yukiko is your introduction to him, or at least what he was, or the still there real him. When you first talk to him, even though everyone's scared of him, you can still see that even though he's trying to put on this front of, oh, I'm big and scary, he is just trying to push everyone away. It's pretty obvious from the first time you talk to him, when as soon as everyone thinks he's scary or thinks he's gay, because he was just talking to Naoto, who everyone thought was a boy at the time. Gay alert! Gay alert! Misunderstandings are just all there, and he hates being misunderstood, because that's how he's been his entire life. He's literally me, because when I was, actually, my entire life, I'm straight. I don't feel like that's crazy to say, despite what the people around me to this day think. But I've never. No, that's not true. Not very often do I find myself attracted to a guy. Only ever celebrities, other than when I was in middle school and I was like, maybe? But even then, a week later, I was like, nah, fuck that shit. Girls are too pretty. I always knew I liked girls. But even I, the straightest gay man there is, thought maybe I was the gayest gay man there is. And seeing Kanji struggle with being misunderstood is so me. He's me. Expect to hear me say that like 18 more times in this 15-minute video. But by the next time you see him, it's in his dungeon, which is the second one of the game, because he has been kidnapped by the mid-boss of the game, who turns out to not be a bad guy, but spoilers. When he gets kidnapped, when you look at the Midnight Channel, you see the Japanese stereotype for a gay man, because in his psyche, even if he doesn't think of himself as actually gay, he thinks that's how the world sees him. Because what it is his interests, as you find out through his social link, are very feminine. He likes knitting, sewing, he likes cute things. And despite putting on this old bad boy appearance, he doesn't like violence. He doesn't like action all that much. He just wants to make, create, and collect cute things. He's literally me, because my entire life, my biggest hobbies have been ones that in my life have been, the people around me tell me are feminine. When I go to the movies, my favorites are always the romance ones. I've never cared for action. Are there a few exceptions? Sure. Do those few exceptions more often than not have a great romantic subplot? Yes. But I've always liked romance, anime, and movies. I've never been a big fan of action movies. I like baking. I like cooking. And I don't like sewing, mainly because I don't know how to do that shit. But my entire life, those have been things that are a lot more feminine considered. Except maybe cooking. But even the music I like is more lesbian and or feminine artists. And for both Kanji and myself, there are only two perceptions people give to people who like more feminine things. They're either weak and or they're gay. For me, and some people for Kanji, they thought gay. But for Kanji growing up, including himself, it led everyone to thinking he was a weak, soft soy boy. And for Kanji, that mainly stems from his father. Before his passing, when he was very young, he said, to be a true man, you have to be strong. Not meaning it in you literally need to be buff, or fucking you need to be the manliest man fucking ever. But you just need to be able to protect yourself and those around you, be it physically and or emotionally. But because Kanji was a kid at the time, and even in the story, the point you're talking to him, for the American equivalent, he's a sophomore in high school. He's a first year in Japan though, Sugoi! Um, but he's still a kid. And up until this point, he's pushed everyone away because all throughout his life, be it his dad, unintentionally, girls in his class, or friends he's made up until then, have considered him weak and girly because, as the son of a fucking textile shop, like, no duh, he's gonna like sewing, or at least know how to, if he only deals with textiles his entire life. Like, that is like the one habit you would pick up. And because of that one habit, and only growing up with a single mother, he's gonna pick up a few habits from the textile shop. Like, let's be for real. But because of the things he grew up on and the way he turned out, his entire life has just been people not understanding Kanji Tatsumi. When I was 19, I joined the military. And that year before I left was probably to this day, second best year of my life. And that's crazy because COVID was going on, like, the entire time. But despite that, all the people around me still wanted to just hang out. So we would just go to each other's houses, even though we really weren't supposed to, and we would just sit in our friend's basement and bullshit and play games and just we would just be. So when I finally got the day I was supposed to leave, like, I got told like 6 months out. And I debated to myself, should I just become the worst version of myself in these people's eyes so that it hurts them less when I have to leave? Because I would rather take the entire pain to myself than let my friends feel any. And I didn't end up going through with it, mainly because I talked to one friend and he was like, no, that's fucking stupid. You're stupid. Which is exactly what I needed to hear. But because of fear in my own heart of making others around me sad when I leave, I almost pushed everyone away. Kanji, on the other hand, went through with it. But his wasn't out of a love for others other than his family. His was due to a fear of them not understanding him. For me, this is probably the biggest difference between me and Kanji. When people didn't understand me, instead of pushing away, I brought everyone in closer, because I thought if everyone could see the me I think I am, then maybe they would understand me better. It didn't always work. But the people it did work on are, to this day, the people who I care about the most. Not everyone cares about me back anymore, but that's neither here nor there. But every single person who I brought in and treated me the way that I saw me ended up being people in my heart who are the most important in this world. Maybe some will still call me gay to this day, my dad, my sister, but they saw me, not the me they originally thought I was. The entire point of Kanji's story is wanting to be seen for who you are. Kanji throughout his entire social link where he talks about his relationship with his parents and his enjoyment for sewing and how that's caused him problems, and the fact that kids these days don't bully him, well, I guess for 2008, don't bully him because they see it as kind of cool. When he was their age, everyone saw him as lesser for it, except his family. But for me, one step back. Kanji's entire story is wanting to be seen as Kanji. Kanji Tatsumi just wants to be Kanji Tatsumi. He doesn't want to be your interpretation of Kanji. He doesn't want to be your best friend's interpretation of Kanji. He wants to be Kanji's interpretation of Kanji. He's so me because my entire life, past 6th grade, my entire adult life has just been me wanting to be me. I've wanted people to see Drew as Drew. Dean is Dean. I want to be me. And do I still have trouble with that to this day? Sure. No one will ever 100% understand another person. That's just kind of how life is. But the closer we can get to that, the closer we can get to other people. Kanji is me. I am Kanji.